Yo, what's going on, guys? Winter Kills here, and welcome back to a brand new Locals feature match. Here we are in the fourth and final round from September 16th Locals. I know this is a bit older compared to where we're at right now here, just beginning of October, but this is still a new format, obviously. So yeah, hope you guys are going to enjoy it. We got Unchained on the right versus Sky Striker on the left. The person piloting the Striker deck is a longtime Striker fan, and I assume they were probably pretty happy when Arise Heart got the axe, because Rise Heart was definitely a big hindrance to Sky Striker's ability to play. Turns out they need spells in their graveyard. So yeah, definitely taking it for a little bit of a test run here. In the new format, both duelists currently undefeated at this point in the tournament going to the final round. And we're going to see him go for one of the new and probably more broken pieces of support for Unchained, the Soul Lord of Yama. If it's special summon, it just says add an Unchained monster from your deck to your deck or graveyard to your hand. Pretty decent imperm target if you ask me, and not surprised to see the imperm fired off there on the Yama. And then we're going to see them follow up here with a Pot of Prosperity, but only going for 3, revealing a copy of Thrust, the Escape of the Unchained, and a copy of Sharvara. Another new piece of support. Some of the support this deck got is absolutely insane. It's no surprise to see how well this deck has been doing. Even old formats, when Arise Heart was still illegal, all that stuff, before the most recent ban list, the deck was doing very, very well in tournaments, and even afterwards is still doing very, very well. And we'll see them end here with just the Escape set and the Yama. Not the best end board. Deck's definitely capable of doing a lot more. And we're going to see Striker leave with Lightning Storm. Obviously, main deck, it's not surprising. Striker is probably the only deck in the format right now that's wanting to go second, and it's been like that for a long time. It's just a deck that can go second well. And since Escape was destroyed, to be able to summon out an Unchained from the deck, so he's going to summon out the Aruha. And we'll see how they decide to navigate the rest of the board here. A lot of things, pretty much everything floats in Unchained. And I believe Sharvara has a graveyard effect. Actually, yeah, during a graveyard effect, during the main phase of this card in your hand, quick effect, you can target a Fiend Monster or one face down card you control destroy. Okay, so that's only in the hand. I thought one of them had a graveyard effect. It might be the blue level 6, that one just came out. We're going to see them normal summon Ray, and that's going to get linked into Hayate, and they're just going to go into battle phase, poke for 15, Hayate effect since it dealt damage, or, well, since it battled, go ahead and send a Striker card from deck to grave, so they go ahead and dump a Engage. Wonder what that card does. And they're also going to use a linkage here to go for Kagari. Still one of the more broken cards. And, yeah, speaking of new support, good new support. I mean, it's not new, but it's a newer Striker card. We're going to see him tag out into the Kagari. Attack over the Aruha. Aruha will float into the Shyama. And main phase 2, we're going to see a Thrust get activated. This, I mean, talk about a card that is absolutely game warping. As a card like Thrust. I mean, this card, even just watching the top cut of YCS Dortmund, that card was being played left and right on features. Insane card in the finals. That card is just, it is absolute. I don't think I've seen a more broken card in recent history. It's absolutely just nuts. It really is. And I don't think it should be at 3 for much longer. Same thing with Prosperity. Just so many really good cards that are just so incredibly generically good. Yeah, it's just crazy. So we're gonna see them here continue into main phase after main phase 2. After thrusting for a Raigeki. Not the best removal against Unchained, since again usually a lot of stuff gets their effects when it's destroyed, but really not too many good effects for them right now. And they're just going to go ahead and link it to Shizuku. And they're going to go ahead and end phase add the Eagle Booster, or the Shark Cannon rather, and then still activate it in the end phase by banishing that Yama, which does have a pretty good graveyard effect, so they want to leave that lingering in the grave. So they're going to go ahead and pass turn there, and Unchained is going to lead by activating the effect of Shyama in the graveyard to go ahead and pop the set, which ends up being an Abominable Chamber of the Unchained. So that's basically just going to allow them to special summon an Unchained monster from the deck. And we'll see what they go ahead and decide to special summon here. Is it Shyama one has the graveyard effect, quick effect? This card is in your graveyard. No, it's not. For some reason, I thought it was a quick effect. This card is in your graveyard. You start one fiend monster or face down card you control, destroy it if you special in this card. So, yeah, a lot of good graveyard utility. Shyama has the graveyard effect, and Sharvara has the hand effect. And they're going to use Shyama to target a turn one card you control, destroy it, then you can destroy one spell trap on the field. That's going to force out a Widow Anchor because it's kind of a use it or lose it situation because they're going to pop their set and then get rid of the Widow Anchor. But Rakea has the quick effect to destroy, so they'll pop the set Abomination's Prison. That's going to bring out the Unchained Soul of Disaster, which is, from what I understand, not in every Unchained deck list. For reasons, you know, one main reason, I think it's just not a great card to draw at all. But if it's in your deck list, it's like one of those things that if you don't happen to draw it and it's in your deck, you can do a lot more with the deck. So, I mean, I could be wrong with that, but I remember hearing that recently. So they're going to link into the Unchained Soul of Rage, which is obviously the one that allows you to link off with the opponent's special summon monsters, quick effect during the main phase, opponent's main phase specifically. And now we're going to see him slap down that Dark Contract with the Gate, which this has got to be one of my favorite parts about this deck in particular, is the fact that they get to play this, you know, 4-card DDD engine, which is just, like, insane with the Vice King, getting to rank up into the Deus Ex Machina, you know, with that ability just to pop a card for free randomly because of the Vice King and its access to Zeus. Yeah, it's just a huge 3K body out of nowhere. And with all those monsters, be able to put on a decent amount of damage, dropping them down to 3,700 to their 65. Now they're going to link into, in main phase 2, another copy of the Soul Lord of Yama to go ahead and add an Unchained, a monster from the deck to hand. And I think they just ended up grabbing a Sharvara and popping the Rakea, and that's going to bring out the Sarama. And Sarama says, turn one Unchained card in your graveyard except itself, set it to your field, and destroy one card you control. So they're going to set the trap and then pop the trap. I think it's funny that card just says you can just like pop the same thing that you set, if I'm reading that correctly. Turn Unchained card in your graveyard except itself, set it to your field, then destroy a card. So you can just destroy the thing you set. Pretty good, pretty good. Now they're going to go into another Unchained Soul of Rage. And I assume they're doing that just to trigger a graveyard effect. And then they're going to link into Muckraker. And then Muckraker effect discarding to bring back the Yama. And they do go for a Link 4 here, which usually is Nightmare. But yeah, they cannot use Muckraker for Link material the turn that it is summoned, I believe. But they still can pull off the Nightmare Griffin play. Just have to put it in a different zone. But Sky Striker is one of those decks that really doesn't care too much about Nightmare Griffin here, as Kagari conveniently has an arrow that points to the Griffin. So since it is linked, it doesn't have to be co-linked, just needs to be linked, which means it needs to be pointing to something or being pointed at by something. So they're going to go for multi-roll, engage, Widow Anchor here. Just give me that Nightmare Griffin battle phase attack with the Griffin over the Muckraker. And then here we're going to see him use an effect to bring out the Sharvara in the graveyard. I assume he was using a Yama if he had another one in grave and just forgot to banish it. Otherwise, I don't know how that Sharvara is coming out. Maybe somebody can enlighten me in the comments, but I think something getting a little bit lost in translation there. And they're also just calculating life points there. That Kagari was getting a 700 attack boost, so maybe felt it was a good time to block a little bit of damage there. Yeah, and I thought it was like a Yama effect, but like the Yama, he already has one Yama banished, and he didn't just banish it when that card got destroyed. He tries to go into Zeke to clear the Sharvara without triggering its effect, but he does have Escape at the Unchained to activate in response to clear both the Sharvara and the multi-roll, which is kind of problematic, and that'll trigger the effect of Sharvara to set one directly from the deck. And then we're going to see him link off the Zeke into Shizuku, and end phase, we'll see him resolve Shizuku to go ahead and grab a copy of Hornet Drones. And looks like that will do it for the turn. And see them draw for turn here. And see what they will start off with. They have the trap set, so they'll go ahead and activate it, which is going to bring out the Sarama. And they're going to go ahead and use Sarama effect here to reset Escape. and of course destroy the escape. And that'll allow to special one from deck, but they're also going to chain Yama here in response, since the card was destroyed, to go ahead and bring out the Unchained Soul of Rage, and then resolving escape here to bring out the blue dog, the Shyama. And they're going to normal summon Phoenix Rhino Warrior, go into the Unchained red dog, the Soul of Anguish, and that's going to link up into the Unchained Abomination there. So yeah, they used that other Yama in the grave that turn, so that must have mean they didn't use it to bring out the Shyama that last turn. Like I don't know, something weird happened there, but that card got brought out. I'm just missing something, surely. So we're gonna see Unchained go first here in game 2. No surprise. Again, the Sky Sugar deck wants to go second, and an Imperm getting fired off on the Yama again. Very similar to what we saw in game 1. It kind of worked out for them, but they ultimately still ended up losing the game here, so we'll see if that ends up playing out the same. They're going to normal summon that Phoenix Rhino Warrior, go into Unchained Soul of Rage, and then they're going to dump that Shyama. Shyama's going to pop the set, or not escape, sorry, Abominable Chamber, and they're going to be able to bring out the Sarama effect, bring back the Rikeya, pop the Rikeya. And since Rikeya was destroyed, it gets to special summon an Unchained monster from the deck, hand or deck. And that is going to bring out Rikeya. And I'm curious if they're going to go for Nightmare Griffin again. Shyama will get returned back to the deck after using for link material. And yeah, no, looks like they're just going to go for Muckraker into Nightmare Griffin. And if you guys can hear a cricket in the background, I apologize. There is one that is always extremely loud every night, and sometimes it's so loud that I don't know, it's just like the mic picks it up. I don't know. It's driving me crazy too. So hopefully the background music kind of makes so you guys can't hear it, but I can hear it. It's literally just driving me crazy, and I don't think there's literally anything I can do about it. So they're gonna normal Rose, and immediately on normal they're gonna use the effect of escape to go ahead and pop the Rikeya and pop the Rose, and they're going to bring out a Sharvara. I keep getting Sharvara and Shyama mixed up. I apologize. Like, the names are so similar, and the artwork is also, I mean, one's blue, one's red, so I guess they're pretty easy to identify based on the color there, but man, oh man, do the names almost sound identical. So we're going to see him go into Linkage, or linkage rather, into Hayate, and poke for 15, proc the effect to go ahead and send a Sky Striker card, and they're thinking about sending Engage there, but they are still going to send Engage. They might have looked at something else there for a sec, but decided ultimately to go with the Engage, get that engine rolling, and link into a Kagari to add back the Engage, the age-old classic. And you can see again here the Sky Striker deck just ultimately not caring about the Nightmare Griffin. They thought that maybe putting it up in the EMZ might work out a little bit better for them, because Shizuku and Kagari and Hayate and Kaina would not point to it, but they still have that Sharvara in that far right monster zone, which gives Kagari room to be able to play under that circumstances of the Nightmare Griffin. And then Zeke will finally come down to be able to clear it, going into Shizuku, and they'll set one end phase. They can resolve multi-roll here, I believe, and they'll also get Shizuku. So they're going to reset the Widow Anchor, and they're going to go ahead and get to search for another Widow Anchor, since multi-roll pulled the other Widow Anchor out of their graveyard, so they can go ahead and search another one. And Unchained will draw for turn here and immediately turn the Sharvara to attack, and that's going to force out a Widow Anchor to go ahead and take it. And they're just going to, looks like they're just going to pass here. So I think they're deciding on the order of how things come back, and what resolves first, like the Shizuku, or not the Shizuku, sorry, the Widow Anchor and the Zeke and the multi-roll, deciding what the order is for all that stuff. So looks like Widow Anchor will resolve, then multi-roll, then Zeke resolving to go ahead and bring back the Nightmare Griffin, and they're deciding what might be the best spot for it, because there's a pretty good floodgate. It's just very zone dependent on where he is going to be able to place these things to make it so it's actually somewhat impactful. But we know they have a Widow Anchor searched out, so this Nightmare Griffin is still probably just not doing anything this turn. And they have another linkage set. They also have Imperm too, that works, so, you know, double the effect negation the better, so now they can just really use it for snatch steal purposes. So you know, and link off into a Hayate, and battle phase again, swinging for 15 direct, and get to go ahead and send another Sky Striker card from deck to grave. And we'll see what they're going to send. Checking the opponent's graveyard. They have a Yama in there as well, so they've got that graveyard effect. And they're going to go ahead and send a Hornet Drones into Kagari. Kagari effect to go ahead and add back Engage. And in response, we're going to see Phantasme. Yeah, I think we had a feature match a little while ago where someone was playing Phantasme. They're going to go ahead and get to draw 2 and put back 1, so they get to fix the hand just a little bit there. And Phantasme has always notoriously been a very, very good card against Sky Striker because that's all the deck ever does is Link Summon. And a lot of their good effects end up targeting, which Phantasme can negate. So pretty cool to see that being sided in. I know that the card's been getting a little bit more popular with Unchained being as popular as it is. Very decent hand trap against the deck. And who doesn't love recycling and fixing your hand mid opponent's combo, right? It's a very nice feeling. So then go ahead and search off Engage and get to draw. Widow Anchor take, link off into Dark. And they're going to go ahead and steal the Yama out of the grave and then link off with the Yama and the Dark into Access Code. Access Code effect, targeting the Dark, banishing the Dark, pop Nightmare Griffin. Get that out of there once and for all. And they're not going to bother dealing with the Sharvara. And they're going to just resolve a multi-roll and pass turn. And we'll see if they can get over this board of set 4 plus multi-roll plus an access code, which, I mean, it's kind of weird to see it come down right now since the game never really ended. They are trying to, looks like, crash that Sharvara there into the access code. But Widow Anchor will prevent that as they're going to go ahead and do basically a T set. And they're going to draw for turn. And I think that's Gravekeeper's Inscription, which is basically just Dweller as a spell. And that is just going to force the end of the game right there, as they still have access code on board and plenty of resources. So we are into game 3. And we're going to see Sharvara pop Escape. Escape effect, that's going to get ashed. And immediately following up with Thrust. Again, what did I say? Thrust is just absolutely bonkers. That's going to go ahead and get the Chamber. And they've got Rakea to go ahead and pop Chamber there. And that's going to trigger Chamber effect to go ahead and bring out another Sharvara. And they can go for the rank 6. Okay, good thing we are not going for the Nightmare Griffin again, because that has seemingly done nothing the past 2 games this match. So maybe the Caesar will work out a little bit better here. And Imperm getting fired off there. But not on, I think, like, maybe the best part, because they did have Tour Guide to keep playing, but I don't know ultimately if it'll matter here as they activate that Gravekeeper spell, and they don't have anything else to play. They're all just non-engine, and it wasn't getting any better either, so Unchained will take that match there 2-1. Who knows if they had engine, that Caesar might have been a lot better than the Griffin. But last but not least, a big shout out goes to our current Divine level channel members who are Misfit, H8 Cyber, Cadillacs, Pony Stark, and Green. Thank you guys so much as always for your very, very kind and extremely generous support of the channel.